Good morning, all you crafty creators. It's a beautiful day here where I live, and I'm going to share some wonderful things for you. My name is Laurel, and I have been a quilter for over 30 years, and I have been a sewing person for over 50 years. Yes, I started sewing when I was just a baby. That's accurate. I think I've got some great things to share with you, and I'd like to include you in my plans. So let's get started with today. Today, we're going to be talking about working with panels and pre-printed fabrics and some interesting ideas that maybe you haven't thought of before, but it will at least get you started on thinking about different things other than just fabric that we buy at a fabric store or patterns that are just very typical. I'm going to give you some ideas that are easy, fun, and will really let you experiment with fabric and with different tools that I'm going to show you today. So here are some panels that I'd like you to look at. This first panel I'm going to uncover in a minute, but these panels over here are all panels that come in one piece of fabric. And I love them because they say such wonderful things. They're quotes by different people. This is a quote by Claude Monet. This is not a quote, it's just really cute. This is a quote by Emily Dickinson, and this is a quote by E.B. White. So you've got quotes by artists, quotes by poets, and quotes by writers. And out of these four things, I already have projects decided on what I'm going to do with them. And that's going to be part of the fun because you will get to come along with me on my adventure as I create these different projects. None of them are huge projects. They're just small, nice projects that you can easily do in a weekend or in a week. So that's a doable thing for everybody. But as I was kind of brainstorming with myself about what I might want to do with these, I immediately came up with some things that I'm going to do with these. There are other things that I could do, but these were the things that I came up with and thought of. The first thing I thought of was one of these is going to be for me, and it's going to be just a small quilt. It might end up being on my wall. I don't know for sure. I haven't sketched it out, but I'm going to do that so that I'll know how big it is soon. I'm going to make one of these into a pillow for a friend. One of these sayings is something that she really loves and lives, and so I'm going to make a pillow for her because she's just moved into a new apartment. One of them is going to be a wall hanging for sure, and I will probably give that wall hanging to a relative that I have in mind. And then one of them may be a quilt backing. I don't know, I haven't firmly decided, but each of these will become something that will be really fun and that will be easy to make, and I hope that you'll take the opportunity to watch how I make these panels into something fun. You can buy panels on the internet. You can buy panels at fabric stores. Just get on the internet and search and type in fabric panels, and you will have a large variety of things to choose from. I'm going to especially work this week on this project. This is an American flag panel, and when I first saw it, I thought, oh, that's such a cute quilt. I thought each of these pieces right here was pieced, but they're not. This is a panel. This is what we call cheater fabric, and as you notice, each of these little pieces here is entirely different. So all of the quote-unquote piecing has been done for you by a printing of this fabric. I love the fabrics in this line. As you recall, we're coming into America's 250th birthday. And so I'm starting to make things for that birthday celebration to both give to people and to celebrate on my own. So let me tell you my plans with this. I am going to quilt this, and I'm not going to do it on my quilting machine. I'm going to do it on my sewing machine. And I'm going to do it an entirely different way. I'm going to do it with a couple of products that will just give these lines some definition, and that will quilt it at exactly the same time that I'm doing that definition on this. But this will be something that will either hang in my entryway of my home, or it may even hang outside for a while as we approach July and approach the 250th birthday. So I'll show you a little bit more about that in just a few minutes. I just wanted to show you that this is going to be my starting project, and it will move really, really fast. But you will need some special products to be able to do what I'm suggesting you do. You can think of your own things, though, for sure. There are a lot of things on the market right now. If you go on the internet to thatquartershop.com or MissouriStar.com or Spoonflower, or just type in a Google search, you will find lots and lots of patriotic panels that you yourself can take and make into something for your own celebration. I am lucky enough in my life to be able to have to celebrate 2 of America's 50th birthdays. So you want to do something to celebrate this and to pass down your feelings about the love of your country to different people that you care about, so that they'll have something to remember this time. So that's just a suggestion, but think about it. It's something fun to do to celebrate this birthday together. And now we're going to go and we're going to look at something that is already completed, but that I'm going to replicate because I love it so much. And it is something that is a little bit different. It's pre-printed fabric, but it's pre-printed fabric and something that you may not have thought about before. So I'm just opening up your exploration horizons, and let's go over here and look at this wonderful project that I have to share with you. This is the wonderful project that I wanted to share with you. This is a project that's made with hankies, children's hankies. And there's quite a variety here. They're just really fun to look at. When I made this back probably 20 years ago, I just loved the thought of being able to use something from the past that was retro and put some things with it and have something really cute and kind of just cute and wonderful to share with someone else. I didn't know everything about quilting when I did this. In fact, I can see lots of mistakes and lots of different things, but I can also see a lot of love that went into this project, and my feelings for it have only grown. So I'm going to make another one of these. These are 5.5-inch hankies right here. And as you can see, there's quite a variety. When I made the blocks that go around this, I followed a pattern, and I can show you that pattern, but I didn't use the batting that I would normally use on a quilt. I used a fluffy batting, so it's a heavier batting inside. I didn't do quilting that was wonderful. This is all done by hand, and it's really pretty rough, but it doesn't look too bad. What I'm trying to say to you is I think I've improved my skills a lot, but what I haven't improved is I haven't improved my feelings for the product. I love this as it was then, and I hope will love the new one that I'm going to make with better techniques and with better skills. This is still a cherished piece of work to me, and it brought me so much joy when I was making it. So we will be going off on this project together, and let me show you the book that I got the original idea from, and let me show you some of the hankies that I will have in the coming project. The hankies in the coming project are not the same hankies. So I'll have two entirely different quilts, and the fabrics that I'm using around this will be entirely different too. So let me get that book and show you. This is the book that I told you about that I got the idea for this hanky quilt that I made. And I'm not sure if this is still in print or not, but the idea is so simple, I'm not sure that you'll really need the pattern. I bought, at the time that I did this hanky quilt, I bought this box of children's hankies. This was from Moda Home. I've looked online and you can get these still on eBay, and they're not a higher price. You can still get a lot of variety. You can also get real children's hankies or adult hankies on several places, on Etsy, on eBay. Lots of places have them. A lot of vintage shops and places that sell, you know, older things or that have come from estate sales will have hankies that are absolutely beautiful. Okay, I would like to show you a close-up of the quilt that was made out of the exact hankies that I had, but they did a couple of things different on theirs than I did on mine. So let me show you a close-up of that, and you can kind of see what is different here. You'll notice that it has all the way around. It does have an outside border, but the border, they scalloped the border when they made it. That's fine. I didn't want to scallop the border, partially because I didn't know how to do that at that time. I think on the one that I'm going to make now, I would do that, but I didn't know how at the time, so I used the skills I had and made a cute quilt. This is one of the hankies that is in the new box that I'm going to make the new quilt from. This is what it looks like on the back. It has a little teeny label on it. I decided to cut those labels off. I have saved them for the laundering advice, but they're 100% cotton. They were made in China. It doesn't say the year that they were made, but it does say that you can machine wash these in cold water. So it's all washable, but I will save this to put somewhere on my quilt. But I need you to see how fine this material is. This material is so fine that I didn't feel comfortable either way back when or now. I didn't feel comfortable using this just as is. So I bought a product to help reinforce it. Let me show you how fine that is though. You can look up close and you can actually almost see through that fabric. What I did is I bought a product that's called Shapeflex interfacing. And what it is it's a very fine fabric that's got a gluey base to it, so you can iron it to something and it will both stabilize it, and in this case it will make it so that you don't see through it, and that excuse me, it will just look and be able to stay in place a lot better than it was. So let me show you what that looks like. I bought this on Amazon. You can buy it at Hobby Lobby. Any sewing store, any quilting store will have a Pellon product that's called Shapeflex interfacing. And this is the lightweight version. You want lightweight, you don't want something really stiff. This is what it looks like. It's a very, very thin fabric. This is the gluey part. It's not gluey right now, but when it gets hot, it adheres to the handkerchief. And then as you can see, it's almost a gauze-like fabric. But when you put this on those hankies, it's wonderful because they're not quite so delicate and you feel like you can actually work with them. So Stayflex, wonderful product. You might use it. We also use it when we make t-shirt quilts. So that's just a heads up for you. Let me show you what it looks like once you have stay flex on the back of this. Here is a cute little hanky that I have already ironed the stay flex to. You'll notice that it now has more stability, that you can't see through it the same way that you could see through the other one. And I've started to collect fabrics to go and make the strips, the 2.5-inch strips for each of my hankies. You'll also notice that along the edge there's a very, very fine little hem. I don't do anything with that hem. I'm not going to undo what was done to this hanky. So what I do is that will be included in my seam. But I don't undo it. I don't think it's a wise thing to undo. You might start to fray the hanky, and you don't want to do that. So here's one of the cutest, I think, of the hankies. It's a cute little Scotty dog. And I had some fabrics that I thought might go really cute with this. And then my friend said to me, well, come and look at my stash. I probably got a lot of stuff that you could use to make that quilt. And I said, okay, we can share. So I picked this fabric to go with it, which is a black and white, which I thought was really cute. She gave me this idea. I could never quite define what color blue this was. And she said, well, it's really not blue, it's more of a purple. So she gave me a purple to put in there. Then there's this red that of course goes. And then I've got something that's got really light lavender stars. So those are the fabrics that I will cut to 2.5-inch strips to go around the perimeter of the hanky. And I'm really excited to get started. The other thing that this friend showed me that just blew me away was she had a whole bag full of handkerchiefs and doilies and a number of things that were given to her from aunts, from grandmas, from a number of family members. And she had the most beautiful women's hankies I think I've ever seen in my life, with wonderful crochet on the outside of them. And she said, I want to make something with these, but I don't quite know what to do with the crochet. And so we're in the process of developing what we're going to do with those hankies for her. So stay tuned and look forward to our combined creativity to really make something special out of those treasures and heirlooms that were in her family that we want to put back to life into something good in our lives. So let's sum up what we've done today. We have talked about panels, we have talked about pre-printed fabric, and we have talked about cheater fabric and even fabrics like hankies that we can make quilts out of or that we can make projects with. Today we have not done very much of anything, only organize our thoughts, our materials, and we've done a little bit of preparation. But next time that we get together, you're going to see this as a finished product, because I'm going to do some of the things and I will record some of the things that I want to do with this. But this is almost finished. I just have the bias edging to do. I need to show you though what this looks like as a product. This is a strip of that tape that I was telling you about. What you do is you put a little line of glue there, you stick it down, you let it adhere and dry, and then you can go back and sew it right down the middle. So that I'm getting some definition between each of those lines, okay? And I have already started to do what I call a scrub, a chenille scrub, so that it's fraying all of this. In case you're wondering what I'm talking about by fraying, chenille looks like this. And chenille, this is the same product, Chenille-it, but it's done on a pillow. And this has got 3 pieces of chenille on it that I have brushed and made fluff out. What chenille is it's a very, very fine gauge cotton or some type of fabric. I'm not sure what it is, but it's made into 3/8 inch strips or 5/8 inch strips, and then you sew it on. I sewed mine on with a walking foot, and I'll show you some of that in just a minute or two, but I wanted you to see what I had done. Before I sewed it on though, to help it stay right exactly on the line, I used some different fabric glues. This one is called Fast and Tacky Glue by Hemline. I think I got this from Fat Quarter Shop. And this one is a little bit stronger. This is I can't read the small print on that, but you can get that from Fat Quarter Shop. And then this, I have not used yet, but someone told me about this. This is a Sue Daily product, and this is a fabric glue pen. So all of these you can use, and they do wash out, and they don't leave a color behind, and they're a great way to adhere something to another piece so that it stays in place when you go to sew it. Okay, I am going to show you how, once that's sewn on, how you go ahead and you make it fluffy. This is the brush that I used. It's not a hard brush. They do have a tool called a Chenille-it tools that you can order from the company. It's up to you whether or not you do that or not. I didn't feel like I needed to. I felt like I got good results with just these 2 tools that I'm going to show you. So this is a pretty hard brush. It's a little bit harder than a toothbrush. And then I have a nail file that I have also used. So let me show you what you do. This has been sewn on here, right here, and it's been sewn right down the center with a regular straight stitch, okay? And once it's sewn on and everything's ready to go, you just start to brush it and fluff it out. Here's a place that has already been done, so maybe you can see that, but you just do this, and you keep doing that, and those threads loosen up, and they make this fluff. Now, I only used 1 strip because I didn't want it to be really thick. I just wanted it to have a little bit of something that gave it a little bit of pizzazz. So there's the pizzazz. I hope you can see that. And then if it doesn't fluff up enough, I go back over it with this. You just keep working with it. I even got this so that it was doing it for me by hand. I could do it and just sit, and I didn't have to have any tool at all. I was getting some of it frayed out like this just by working with it with my hands. The other thing that you can do, if you're not totally happy with the way that it looks when you get it to a certain stage, is you can put it in your washing machine, and with the first washing, some of that will come out so that you'll have a nice puffy little look along there. It's just giving it a little bit of definition. Let me show you why I chose to do this. Not only did I attach that chenille, but at the same time, I quilted this quilt, this wall hanging. So it served 2 purposes. I embellished it, and I quilted it at the same time. So that's kind of a cool thing to be able to achieve 2 things at one time. I haven't decided what I'm going to do quite yet here, but I'm sure it will be something fun. I'll share that with you next time I see you, because this will be completed. And I haven't decided for sure what I'm going to do for the binding. I haven't decided if I'm going to bind it or if I'm going to embellish it, or what I'm going to do. But it's going to be something creative and fun. I'm going to try some things out. I am going to try and see if I like chenille around the whole outside. And I've got 2 ways that I'm going to try that. I'll save my samples to show you what I tried and experimented with before I went ahead and finished it, so that you can see what I've done. But this is such a fun thing to do with products that we have now. Our grandparents and our great-grandparents had great chenille coverlets on their bed. It wasn't always made like this or as easy as this, but they were really, really lovely, and they've really come back into fad right now. People love finding old chenille things. This just gives it a little bit more definition and a little bit more. It's just a really fun way to do something and add just a teeny bit of something different. So it kind of reminds me of, you know, our older flags. Some of them have become a little tattered and they've become a little worn, and I thought that kind of symbolized that. So that's why I did that. But we're almost done with our first project now, and we'll have that all finished up. And like I said before, you can order flags online from different places. They might not look exactly like this, but you can get some nice panels and do exactly this same thing or something similar to it. There's so many things to choose from right now. So I encourage you to do that, and it's really going to be a fun thing for you to have. This will be done as a project next time. We talked about these projects here. They're going to become some different projects, and I'm going to lead you through that and show you my process and my thinking. And then, of course, my favorite will be putting together that hanky quilt. If you want to do any of these projects or anything similar, I suggest that you get your materials together. If you think you want to do the hanky quilt, you will need to get some stay flex and get it on the back of those hankies, and you will need to cut your fabric strips into 2.5-inch strips. If you are using fat quarters for that, 1 cut across that fat quarter will be perfect for what you need to do. But we'll go into that next time. I just wanted to introduce you to all these ideas. I'm positive your creative juices are going to be flowing, and you're going to be thinking of how you can implement some of these ideas. Maybe not the exact same project, but the ideas. And your creativity will come to life, and you'll have some wonderful project that you will want to do with some of the things that we presented here. Again, I would appreciate you subscribing and giving me a thumbs up and joining me every time you possibly can to learn new things, to sew and to create. Have a great week creating.